and just getting the game plan going.
I was 100% sure that you would be right on time. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, man, throws me under the bus as usual. Let's go.
Mid-Geek Crisis.
No.
Hey, very exciting.
Whoop, whoop. Oh, yeah. So, what's going on? What's going on? How's your week been?
Oh, good. Only a moderate amount of snow and no complaints. Busy at work, but otherwise, I've actually had fun all week. It's Tuesday, though, so who knows how the week's been.
I know. It always feels like, but, since last Tuesday, how was the weekend? What'd you end up doing with the family?
Well, this is our traditional weekend to wander into the woods and cut down a tree and bring that tree home.
Oh, no.
Decorate the tree. I'm gonna be honest. So one of the things I struggle with as a father, right? As a someone who thinks of themselves as a vanguard of tradition, right? What traditions do we have left anymore, right? And we don't do mass, we don't do the Christmas Advent thing, we don't do any of those things that I grew up with, just because we've destroyed them all as young adults, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So going out we've done it every year since my child was born, and going out into this farm and just picking a tree together and chopping it down and then dragging it up the hill, even though I'm an old man and it's not as easy as it used to be, is great. I love it. It's just a good old time, especially this year. Like, I love it when it's full of snow. Like, you have to wear the big snow boots and crunch to the snow at the farm.
The wellies.
Yeah.
So I don't know how your experience is. I never got to do that. And the reason we don't get to do it is Courtney is allergic to real trees. And not so much that she can't smell them or it doesn't bother her. It's when the tree starts dying, it starts putting out like a help me kind of thing, and whatever like thing it starts to shoot off, like the spore or whatever, the pine or whatever starts giving off when it's dying, like murders her. It's because your wife has way too big a heart, dude. We did it one year. We trudged out to like a location and we sawed it out. We cut it, brought it home, put it down. And then like a week later, she just was just like just death incarnate.
And you're sure it's the tree?
It was the tree. She said that it's happened before, and they moved to artificial trees when she was younger.
So y'all have like the umbrella one you pop open and
our tree. Like, I'm like, oh man, gotta get the tree out. We put it out. It's like click, click, click. Plug it in, boom, lights, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so easy. But
sad.
At the same time, I do miss the.
Sad.
I know. I agree.
So I'm gonna go on record right here. Thanks for joining, Legacy. I'm gonna go on record right here and say that might be the one flaw your wife has.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree. Should trade her in for a new model. I'll keep telling her.
Let's mess. This is true rules. One of the crazy things about having a fresh tree is the pine needles are everywhere. But I don't know, man. Carrying it up and there's sawing it down. There's something ritualistic primordial about it. I don't want to say primal because that's it's modern. I mean, the trees are grown on a tree farm. There's nothing. I'm not fending off wolves for the sake of this thing. It's just tradition. That's all. It's just nice to have a few traditions in a world where we've done nothing but destroy them all.
Yeah,
that's all.
That. I can agree with that. Yeah, the kiddos, I mean, we did put the tree up, and then our tradition more is after the tree's up, everyone kind of goes and starts putting the ornaments on.
We do that as well, yep.
And I've always loved, like, every time I go to one of those, like, locations, like hotels or the big fancy schmancy places, you see the really, like, themed trees with, like, all blue and silver or the specific colors, and they're all beautiful. I'm like, man, I'd love to have a tree like that. But then at the same time, our trees are just hodgepodge of, like, ornaments and stuff
just covered in like plastic ornaments full of Zelda and Mario Brothers and whatever else you love. Yeah, that's fine. It's full of things you love. Yeah, that's what it's about.
So at the same time, it's like sometimes I wish like
do you like this is a weird thing that Saren has brought into the family. Every ornament is like individually wrapped, so it's like you have to unwrap all these ornaments to hang them up. So it becomes this like long, elaborate process. I think my mom just threw them all in a box, and we just some of them were broken. And part of our tradition and my growing up was gluing together the ornaments.
Who's got the baby Jesus' head?
Exactly. It was a lot of nutcrackers. We had a lot of nutcrackers. Yeah, decorating is ritual. So
I don't like nutcrackers.
You don't like nutcrackers?
Yeah,
that's
man.
Also a tradition we did. Was after Thanksgiving we went to see the Nutcracker. That's our third year doing Nutcracker with the kids.
I'm sure the play, the performance is great, but the actual like nutcrackers are just creepy looking. I don't know. They're just like they just got the just like there's nothing like I don't know. They don't.
We're starting to really dig at the inner being of Joe, the things that scare him.
Christmas loves me. I love Christmas, and the only reason I love Christmas, it's I grew up with it because it was my birthday as well, and so being able to like celebrate it full on was because it was the one day that I was looking forward to. Plus Christmas, so I was like, yay! But then wait another 365. So it's definitely a fun thing to do. Yeah, the Christmas holidays are coming, man. Like you're feeling it. It's definitely here. The shopping is going on. The music is full blown. Everywhere you go, you've got the decorations up.
Deals.
The first week of December kind of came and went. Like we're already 10 days into December, and it's like, what happened? And
Thanksgiving was late this year.
Thanksgiving was late, and so there's definitely this buffer that tends to happen after Thanksgiving. So I feel rushed, and I don't know if I'm prepared.
Every season it's like that, though. Every season is like that.
But then we wait for it, and so I don't know. But that said, during the holidays, all sorts of stuff happens. I don't know if it's been tradition or not, but and I say tradition in the sense that the holidays are coming. Some of the holiday movies come out, and they start dropping trailers for stuff.
Trailer
drops for things that are coming out in the summer. So we got two big trailers that dropped just this past week, a couple days ago. So we had Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, right, God damn it! I thought I was ahead of the game here. It's the one trailer I didn't watch yet.
Oh man. Okay, so you need to watch that when you watch it. I think.
Togo? What's Legacy talking about? Togo to go? Is that is that Wonder Woman 1984? I don't know.
No.
Explain yourself.
Call of the Wild? Call of the Wild. Yeah, that trailer came out too. It was attached.
Is that Jack London? Is that the I don't even know what Disney Plus.
Yeah, we went and saw this past Friday. We went and saw one of our non-superhero movie. We took her to the movies.
This was your date night, right?
And we chose and we saw Knives Out.
Great movie, fabulous. I saw it as well. Fantastic.
You saw it too?
Yeah, we went to see it in theaters last week, Tuesday. Oh, Wednesday.
Is someone keeping track of this? Like he went to the movies?
Yeah. I mean, I go to the movies. The double effect of going to the movies is that I get to enjoy a movie, and also it annoys the hell out of you because I don't go to any of the movies that you think I should go to. Right?
Fair enough.
But like I saw Alita Battle Angel in the theater. I saw City of Valeria. I go see weird wackadoo movies in the theaters.
All of those, as bad as those movies might have been like panned or whatever, they were theatrical experiences. I think Valerian was a movie that anyone should have seen in the theater because you would have gotten that big experience.
The only one I regret not seeing is Jupiter Ascending, and I saw that. That is terrible film by all counts. But I didn't go see it in theaters, and I should have.
What do you think of Knives Out? By the way, it
was great.
A small review.
It was great. I think if you like the murder in a house genre, it was spot on, fantastic, and a little taste of Clue, a little taste of chewing scenery. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those star-studded. You're getting all sorts of people in,
and the audience loved it. That's the part that cracked me up. I think I was maybe the loud. I was the loud laugher. I was the one who definitely was laughing at the jokes that everyone else was like, "Why is that dude laughing?" But it's a hilarious movie. Great, it's great. Go watch it if it's still out there in the theaters for you.
Yeah, I loved what it caught me off guard. Of course, I knew going in, but what still catches me off guard is seeing Daniel Craig with a Southern accent.
Dude, I thought, honestly, I thought he was going to switch out of it at some point in the film. Like, I thought there was going to be a
twist, like going to the British, going to the Bond accent.
Because, okay, all right, it's Balto. Yes, the true story. Balto's a dog. I don't know, Willem Dafoe. What movie doesn't star Willem Dafoe at some point or another?
At some point in time. Yeah, I did see the Call of the Wild trailer that was attached to it, so it looked good. Another trailer that dropped. other than the Wonder Woman, which was fantastic. If you haven't go see it, this is a movie that's been delayed. It was delayed over a year, or it'll be. That movie was complete this summer. Like it was in the can in like March of this year, and it was supposed to come out in this summer, and they pushed it till 2020. So
because they're reevaluating their strategy, I'm sure.
I'm sure, and I'm wondering if they did any type of recuts, kind of changes to maybe
Puppers movies.
Man, Haley, I speaking of pupper movies, before I go into any giant tribe, I love dogs in movies, but serious movies with dogs just tells me that the dog's gonna die at the end. It's kind of
it.
I hate it. I hate
the only
it.
one who's like,
no, come on, no.
Did he get his shotgun yet?
No, animal. No, the next trailer, the big trailer, Ghostbusters. The next Ghostbusters trailer.
Did anyone know this was happening? I feel like I had no idea. Never mentioned any of the media sources that I read, which granted is not many, but still, I had no idea they were even making this film. It looks like all right. So I didn't need this or want this. Like it could just be a cool ghost movie without it being Ghostbusters,
right?
And also Paul Rudd, interesting.
Yeah. So
he's showing up for everything nowadays.
Oh yeah, he's a high paid dude right now. He's a hot commodity right now in Hollywood, which is fine. He's the safe male. He's the male lead. Not a lead, can be the side.
But he's not Chris Pratt, right? He's not one of the Chris's.
He's not one
of the not Chris.
He's a not Chris. He's the comedic relief. But so
why do it? See, I'm with your roles. I mean, like I. That kid in that movie, the one from Stranger Things, I'd watch a movie with him in it, right? Like, I don't need a Ghostbusters movie with him in it. I'd watch a cool ghost movie with him in it. I mean, I don't know from the trailer what the plot of this particular film is.
So this movie is a direct sequel to 2. It is Ghostbusters 3. It is.
How do you have a sequel 30 years later?
That's the point. I mean, if you watch the trailer, that's the point. The point is, it is far into the future. It is the modern times. One of them plays, I think, Egon's grandson at some point.
That's what it appears to be. Yes.
Yeah. And something happened, obviously, from the trailer. This is just context clues from the trailer that they move out, that they've lost all their money. And the only piece of like land or piece of somewhere they can go that doesn't cost them any money is the family farm. And the family farm happens to be where I guess Egon took the equipment that was left from the Ghostbusters and
portable reactors, by the way.
So obviously the town has like seismic activity, which obviously is telling me that, hey, there's probably a containment unit underground and it's ready to blow. That's it. Look, I agree with you. It's why I feel they waited too long, but this is one of those things where they're
also Independence Day 2 sucked, just for the record. It wasn't a very good film.
It wasn't a very good film.
I saw it.
I see what they're trying to do. Ghostbusters is a profitable franchise. It kids, toys, etc. It can make money for them. They just can't seem to get a film off the ground. That said, this trailer,
I mean, but what the money it makes from it is nostalgia factor, right? Like my kid doesn't give a crap about Ghostbusters.
My kid does.
That's because you do. I don't.
I like no Ghostbusters. My kiddo like.
How did your kid find Ghostbusters?
Remember how we talked about this? Kids don't watch modern TV; they watch Netflix, and Netflix puts all of our old shows on there, and then they stumble into them. And
watch the old original Ghostbusters.
My kid watched the entire real Ghostbusters series because it was on Netflix Kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm talking about. It's like kids like it, they want it, but there's no merchandise.
That movie's not for them, though. It's for us. That movie's for us.
Yeah, well, tell that to my kid who can quote it.
You're gonna take your kid to that film?
Oh yeah, I took him to the last one.
Oh, the 2016 one,
right? And so this is where I'm kind of getting at. Long way around it is this trailer. So the last movie, the 2016 movie, was panned. But it was panned even before it came out because there was definitely some toxicity towards it.
Sure.
Oh, you took a bunch of dudes, and now you're putting female. Oh, women aren't fun.
We talked about this.
The rhetoric, all this junk, that you hear constantly. So the movie was destined to fail already. Yep. Then it came out. No one gave it the time of day. But when you distill that formula, it was exactly what a Ghostbusters movie is: 4 individuals, ragtag bunch, join together, become Ghostbusters. Boom. That's what we got. I like the movie. My wife likes it. the studios didn't like it. They didn't like what it created, and they just panned it. They shelved the whole idea. They didn't bother even.
Oh, it was already radioactive before it came out, like you said.
Right.
And yeah, I'm with you, Rose. I thought it was great. I mean, it was I don't want to say it was a forgetful comedy, but it was a popcorn comedy that you enjoyed.
I thought it was fun. My point is, it gave us everything that people want in a Ghostbusters movie, but everyone was like, "Oh my god, this particular actress, I hate her, I hate her, I hate her." Now we got a trailer, and there was no Ghostbusting at all in the damn trailer. There was like nothing that tells me it's a Ghostbusters movie other than they're just stumbling through nostalgia. Like the entire trailer was them watching footage of Ghostbusters 2. Oh, here's a trap, cool replica. Oh, it's not a trap. Oh, here's the Ecto-1. Like they're just feeding me this like old stuff and going, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted, right? This is what you wanted, right? So then you go look at the reactions online. It's like, finally, here's the movie I wanted. I'm like, this is what you wanted? You wanted a movie that had no Ghostbusting in it? Like a bunch of kids? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, you're right. Kate McKinnon dominates any film she is in because she is, I mean, she's amazing. So, yeah. I mean, they're mining a lot of nostalgia now. It seems like the 90s is the fertile, I guess the 80s and 90s are the fertile ground for just remaking films and taking our money. Frankly, it's us they're targeting.
Yeah, no, sure.
To try and get us to go to the theater. Stranger Things kind of is that, and now this, right? So, yeah, I mean, I didn't know I wanted it. I'm kind of intrigued by it being.
I'm intrigued too. I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it, but I'm definitely a little sour about the idea.
You know what I'm sour? You know what I'm sad about is that and you know what? Legacy makes a good point. No Gremlins 3.
It'll happen. I guarantee you that is one of the next mind franchises. We're going to hear it.
Yeah, Legacy 77 does Brother Sister, and today they played
Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2,
I love
ridiculous game from way back when. So yeah, the 90s is the new 80s, or the 80s is the new 90s. A lot of us have it mixed in our heads, I think. It's a very strange pair of decades.
It's 85 to 95. It's considered kind of a decade in its own right because there's a lot of kids in that era. A lot of things from the late 80s bled over into the early 90s.
And that's where like the video, everything sort of MTV, all that stuff started really come to a head.
Yeah, MTV came out in the early 80s, but it wasn't until the mid 80s to the early 90s that the MTV culture kind of kicked off,
Which sadly, I guess I am. Yeah, that's great.
I see the same thing in cars that have had pictures on my wall. Yeah, go up in value 23. Yep, exactly. You
got it.
I mean, it's exactly it. We've grown up. We've become car designers, and now we're making cars that look exactly like the old. Oh, here's the 80s version. Here's the nostalgia factor.
Is it because we live in the Matrix? This is our greatest decades, and we're just doomed to repeat them over and over again until.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to see the next trailer for this. See maybe if they're going to go somewhere else with it. If they're going to give us a little more. It doesn't look bad. I like the kid from Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things. I like Paul Rudd. Everything in this movie is something I would like. I will say this, and I'm going to pitch you something. Sit back, What if instead of this version of the Ghostbusters, we would have gotten a sequel like this? First off, when I think Ghostbusters, I think of big city. I think of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get that. We get Midwest town, farm now in this one. So it's kind of weird. But what if instead the version of the Ghostbusters I would have written, like this is my head canon. Like here we are 2020. And the character, Bill Murray's character, it's always been that like salesman, like greasy car salesman kind of character, right?
Like a T-77 knows where the money is.
Yeah. So like what if China? What if instead he goes, you know what? I'm gonna revise this franchise. I'm gonna go out west with it. I'm gonna open up a franchise of Ghostbusters. We're gonna franchise this. I mean, he even makes that comment in is
that a plot of one of the video games or
maybe? But
right.
He takes it and then he goes west and he opens up a West Coast Ghostbusters.
The role-playing game. Ghostbusters, the role-playing game, has like a franchise document that you have to sign to become a franchise member.
They've already written this. This isn't something new. And they could have opened up. So Bill Murray would have been like the head CEO of this franchise. And then he would have hired, a new ragtag group in San Francisco. You would have been a town with hills, a big city. Alcatraz, all the ghosts in Alcatraz would have been there. Like I could have just.
Plus, they could have zapped a ton of hacker bros, right? They could have
You just
programmers out there.
Silicon Valley, all of the east, all of that west,
all the ghosts of early stage capitalism. They can go bust.
There we go. I don't know. I just see that could have been a good plot for a movie. Instead,
is that it, Rolls? Is that it? You just want to Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and Bill Murray? Why not just watch the first one? This is my question to everybody. If that's all you want, just watch the first one.
We got a Stay Puft in the new one. Stay Puft came back. Remember the reactor goes out. They showed this big Stay Puft in the 2016 one. I mean,
what's up, Tim? Friend of the show. Thanks for joining on Facebook.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, man. You're right. The role playing game. That's probably where in my head it's coming from. Like I would totally like to see that. That idea.
It's actually a great role playing game if you've ever played it way back when.
Right.
Are you talking about the Stranger Things movie trailer? So I'm with Tim.
Coming in late.
I think a derivative sort of Stranger Things movie would have sold me. I didn't need a Ghostbusters movie. I don't need any more Ghostbusters movies. I see y'all already talking about.
Oh
it.
Yeah.
You got here late, Tim.
Got here late. Right. Catch it in the rerun.
You wanted to go global. You wanted to bust. Yeah, no, that's.
We tried that, right?
Some great franchises.
We tried that with MIB, and which, by the way, I liked MIB International.
I enjoyed MIB International very much so, and it tanked. Who was it for?
I don't know, but I wanted it. I enjoyed it. It's exactly that. You're right, Jordan. You just nailed it. That's exactly it. MIB is essentially the alien version of Ghostbusters, right? They are a alien busting group, and it's perfectly natural. Hey, let's go overseas. Obviously, someone else has got to have an MIB.
There are a lot of people involved in the UK that would disagree with you.
Man, come on. I know Brexit here. Be told probably didn't.
You're probably right. They were just like,
the kids all dressed up in the Ghostbuster outfit on season 2, and they were like,
love it. Plus, the kid looks like he's straight out of the 80s. I had that exact hairstyle. Like I just
written by Jason Reitman, which is Reitman's son. So this is going to be.
The year is 3020. England requests an extension to Brexit one more time. Like, come on, they're never going to leave. 1,000 years from now, we're all going to wonder why we keep doing this. Brexiteering us.
So I'm going to show you guys a nice little feature that we got now.
Oh, bring it on.
To remind you. Like, subscribe, everybody. Like, subscribe. Woo. All right.
We all like animations, right? We all like animation. But the last trailer, so I'll bring it up. Marvel's Black Widow.
That's right.
It was going to be a Disney Plus film. I didn't realize it was like a full-on theater release film. I don't know why. There's a TV series, right? That's like looks great. Looks like a great spy sort of film. It's got some cool characters that I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Things in it as well.
Russian Avengers. I can get down with Russian Avengers. Russian Dad. Yep. Yes, I'm looking forward to enduring Legacy 76's Russian accent for the next year and a half. That's going to be great.
Band.
But it looks fun. It looks like a fun film. I wonder how it's going to connect to all the other ones. I guess how it's going to kick off the new, what is it, arc?
Yep, we're going to the past to tell us what's happening in the future.
That's the part that is she stuck in the Soul Stone? Is that the stone she got? Is that?
Yeah. She's either stuck. Well, her and Gamora are there, right? Like they both died for the stone.
That's right. So maybe is his name Captain Russia? His name's not Captain Russia, right?
No. Oh my God.
Is it Red Star? Is it Silver Star?
Bad Marvel fan. I know this person. Let's take a look here.
I could keep my dad bod. My doctor suggests I lose my dad bod. Legacy 7070.
Oh, man, I love him. He's so great.
Too confusing trying to keep it straight. Are you a DC Rolls? Is that
David Harbour? It's Red Guardian. There we go.
Red Guardian. That's it. DC's just as complicated. They're all too complicated to keep track of the universes that they're in.
Wait.
And I thought Black Widow had a brother, not a sister. That part also. I thought it was a brother, not a sister. But I'm all right with it.
Well, remember they're not related, blood related. right? So that's
okay. I thought she had a blood relation, and that's why she became the Black Widow.
She's an orphan, and they all got brought into the Red Door with
I thought she was an orphan because she had to. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. Look, it doesn't really matter.
Whatever timeline I'm remembering doesn't apply anyway.
It doesn't apply to the cinematic. Whatever origin they want to use.
Star Wars comes out like tomorrow. Is it this week? Next week?
Next week. I'm excited for that. I got my tickets. I'm ready to go.
Ready
to go. Woo! Ready to go. Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm an episode behind on the Mandalorian. I haven't caught up yet, so I'm gonna.
Neither are I.
So I'll watch it Friday. I'll watch it on Friday and watch 2 episodes.
It's probably what I'll do. It's decent. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
But again, we talked about not paying Disney Plus prices for it. I don't think it's worth it.
I don't know. We've been enjoying other stuff on there as well, so it's definitely paying for itself in the amount of content it has. The stuff
for you, you don't have already like 90% of that content already.
It's the TV stuff, man. It's not just the movies that I'm enjoying. It's the TV stuff.
I'll tell you what, we watched Nightmare Before Christmas and it looked really good. Like I guess the copy I have of Nightmare Before Christmas is bootleg, and this is like it looked really good.
Yeah. The quality that Disney Plus is really pumping out there is real nice.
Jar Jar Binks will be revealed to be the Emperor. Episode 9. It's
over. It's dead. You killed it. It's dead, folks. It's dead. That said, this Thursday we've got the Game Awards coming out. So I will be attempting to do a live stream of that. I will have that set up. So I'll have it up and running. And
is it this Thursday?
Yeah, this Thursday at 7:30.
Cool.
7:30 Central Time. So it'll be on every streaming thing, Twitch, YouTube, whatever.
I'll probably be tweeting about that as well, like I did last year, or twitching it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could. I don't know, because I don't know if I could put it up here. I don't think it'd work that well. If I try playing a video, I think it slows everything down, makes it all choppy, right?
Yeah. It's long too. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours. I think I conked out before they did Game of the Year last year. And Green Day's performing. Did they perform last year?
No. I know they had somebody perform last year, but I don't remember.
Very good. Game of the Year, Untitled Goose Game, coming out on the Xbox Pass next week.
That's right.
I'm excited for that. I'm thrilled. I was sad when I saw it was like Steam and Switch only.
Yeah, it's coming out next week, so that's excited. So if you've got an Xbox Game Pass, you'll be able to play the wonderful Goose Game.
I've got the Switch. It's here.
So some other exciting news. So 2 individuals. So Nintendo had an indie day today.
I'm sorry. Rolls is out there delivering the burns on old people today.
No.
Yeah, Alanis Morissette is on tour as well. Did you know this? I'm telling you, the 90s are back again. It's good. It's the greatest musical decade of all time. Destroys all other musical decades. Huh?
The 90s?
80s, the 90s, greatest musical decade of all time. No. Come on, grunge is the 90s.
Okay, I'll let that one hang there for a little bit. I like the 90s. 90s rap might be one of my favorite.
Great rap.
I love
Beastie Boys. Come on, man. Green Day is 80s. All right, Tim. Whatever. I did say 80s.
What?
Yeah.
No. Yes, they might have started in the 80s. That doesn't mean that that's when they were popular.
Look at this guy, 87. 87 is 90s, Tim. Come on. What the? We just talked about the decade being 85 to 95 is the one we are talking about.
Yeah, that's encompassing the 90s in general.
Yeah. Come on.
95 onward is like the beginning of the new millennium. Like
it's the beginning of the end, actually. 95 onward. The world ended in 1999.
And that's rebooted, right?
Yeah, and then we rebooted into the garbage 2 decades we've endured for the last 20 years. God.
Oh man, what was it? You lost me. I was going to talk about something. God, what happened there?
Come on. Where's the lie? Tell me I'm wrong. Have these 2 decades not been total garbage? Straight up garbage. What is garbage? Garbage. Reboot a fantastic 90s children's show. That's right. Garbage.
It is a fantastic show, by the way. I love Reboot. No, I was going to talk about so 2 things. So one, Sony and Nintendo both had a small little like state of play kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
So PlayStation announced a bunch of fun stuff, and I'll talk about that. Nintendo announced a bunch of their indie world. They did a little like 30-minute indie video showing them what's coming. And one of the big announcements there were first off a bunch of nice indie games or sequels and whatnot. So we're getting a sequel to Golf Story, which was a fantastic game. It's a fantastic little
Golf
RPG.
Story?
Yeah, it's a.
Oh, you told me about this before, right? I think I remember Golf Story.
It's a RPG. It's called a Golf Story. So it's like a golf RPG. It's hilarious. But they're making one called a Sports Story, which is now new sports, tennis and golf and soccer.
I got
it's
it.
really
Yep.
funny. Go check out the video if you got to. But one of the big announcements at the end was we're getting a sequel to Axiom Verge, which was a fantastic game.
I saw that. that. Did you play it on the Switch?
I did. I put it on the Switch. Nice. I had it. I actually bought it on the Vita first when it first came out because that's where it first launched.
Oh, okay. I mean, your credentials are mad strong. Your credentials are mad strong. I'm like, is it free on the pass? No, I'm not gonna play it.
I'll play it on my right there, man.
Just keep it right there.
I'm like,
I love it.
I pull it out of the holster.
I love it. I love it.
No, yeah. So Axiom Verge is a great game. If you're not unfamiliar with what Axiom Verge is, it is a So I'll put it this way: this game came out in 2012, the first one. It was an indie title. It was basically Metroid. It was a really fun Metroid game. Actually, very Metroid, very sci-fi, very Geiger-esque style, very ominous music like Metroid. And it came out, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is the best Metroid game we've ever had." That's not Metroid. Nintendo was like, "You guys kind of just made a Metroid game." And they ported it over. They allowed it to get ported to the Wii U, and then Nintendo was like, "We're getting some exclusivity on this because we really like it." So they're bringing it over. So it's going to be not a kind of a timed exclusive for the Switch for the sequel. So that's impressive.
So I mean, 7 years. That's a long time. And it's not even out yet, right? It's next year.
But I mean, you have to understand that. Remember, these are indie games, man. Like we think about these big AAAs where we pump out titles, but this is it's a long. I mean, this dude's like a team of like 5 people.
Oh, all right. I mean, I don't know how big they are. They might have gotten big between
developer Tom Hawk. So it's they're not a big studio. They're not a big development group. They're tiny. So they said they've been working on it pretty much since maybe a year after Axiom Verge launch. So they've been working on it for quite a while.
I mean, the hardware changed, right? So I guess they started way back when, and they're looking, man, the Switch has been around for a while. Yeah, good for them. Good for them. I'm excited for sequels.
We're getting a port of Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath.
That's a game that I feel like has been ported a million times.
Yeah, it's been ported. It was ported to 360, and now it's being ported but it'll be on the Switch, so it'll be handheld. So
That's
being
awesome.
able to play that.
I can't wait to have to buy a second Switch because my daughter has stolen my Switch. Right? That's the. I'm gonna have to own 2 Switches. We're both gonna love the Switch so much.
Yeah, man. What's nice is you can't have 2 on the account. So if you were to buy digital games, you can link to a second Switch. And then, like, if you buy a digital game, you can download it on the other one. The only problem is it won't let you play the same game at the exact same time. So let's say you bought a copy of Mario Kart. You can't play Mario Kart, boot up, and then launch Mario Kart on the next one and try to play with each other. The moment the other one like connects online, it'll go and it'll pause the other one.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm hoping they fix that kind of stuff. I would, but that's kind of how all these consoles are. The Xbox and the PlayStation 4 doesn't allow you to do. You can have multiple copies of digital copies on multiple consoles, but they won't let you play the same game at the exact same time.
Right. Because they want you to buy the game twice because you got 2 people playing. It makes sense. It makes sense. Although a family account might be nice, but I get it.
I wish they would do it. I mean, if anything we've learned or awesomeness that is the mobile world is buying an app once on a family account tends to give you the app for all of my devices. So if I buy Minecraft on my iPad for iOS, I can load it on my phone and load it on 2 other iPads, and both of my kids can play it at the exact same time.
Yeah, you're in a very large walled garden, however, right?
Yeah, the Apple. Right. But so speaking of more games, Sony did announce a couple of things, and they announced some very specific Sony stuff, which I like. Don't get me wrong, but one of the nice weird announcements, which was we knew it was coming eventually, was but it's the trailer they released that was really nice. Is they dropped the trailer on Twitter, and all of a sudden everyone chimed in, and it was the new Minecraft expansion is coming out for PS4, and with that expansion comes full crossplay.
Yeah, that seemed like a big announcement.
And not only was it kind of nice, is in the commercial, like a Sony commercial, like, you know, PlayStation, you know, little logo pops up. You've got people playing Xbox. You've got people playing Switch. You've got people playing you know, and all three of them, and you know, they're all showing them all in 3 different color shirts: red for Nintendo, green for Xbox, and blue for. And they're running around in the world playing together, and it was like, and what was really hilarious, if you followed the,
it wasn't the PlayStation folks yelling at the Xbox folks for being casuals.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, no. What was nice is there was like there was a really nice like complimentary like comment section in Twitter, like, "Hey, welcome to the team, guys." You know, Microsoft.
Oh, that's nice.
All them. Of course, Microsoft is the winner in all this because it is a Microsoft-owned game.
It is. I mean, they paid $1 billion for it, so I feel like they should try and get it as many platforms as they can.
And I mean, Sony was lagging behind because it was the one version of the game that wasn't being updated.
Yep. Oh, it wasn't being updated. I see.
They just they refused to allow the update to happen because the update that happened was crossplay. There was either you're in or you're out, or you're not getting new updates because the core.
You got to get the crossplay to go up further. Yeah.
Right. So,
when was the last time you played Minecraft?
Well, man, I played
it this weekend.
I played it like once a week, but that's only because my kiddos are like, "Hey, how do you do this?" or "How do we play this?" So then I hop in with them and, you know, play. I've been meaning to sit down and I've got it loaded on their iPads. I've been meaning to sit down and get them set up so that I can log in and maybe they can hop in and we can kind of do multiplayer on it. I just haven't done it. I haven't done it.
It's a ton of fun.
I know. I did it with you guys. You and your brothers was actually the first time I did Minecraft.
And we abandoned you and then murdered you, I think, is
No, you did that to Jay.
Yes, that's right. We did that to Jay.
Yeah.
For the record, we still do that to Jay.
That would be your younger brother, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a fun thing to hear. You know, Sony crossplay again. We've been saying this constantly over the course of the 2019.
That's the theme.
Is a service, and people are realizing that they're blurring those lines. We're getting Dauntless. Dauntless launches on the Switch this week, tomorrow, and Dauntless is also crossplay with Sony, Xbox, and PlayStation, and it's free.
Crazy.
And it's a Monster Hunter style game. 4 players go and attack big monsters and whatnot. And it looks great. And yeah, man. Oh, and it also has a cross save.
Interesting. So you carry your character. So your character's basically on their servers like Fortnite.
So you log in on your PlayStation and play Dauntless, and then you log out and log on your Xbox or on your PC or whatever.
It would have to be so that you buy the tokens, right? It would make it easier for folks to buy if their character had all the
That's the way it should be.
Sense. I haven't tried Dauntless. Do you like it? Have you played it?
I have not. I've seen good things. It looks really like fun. It looks like something that anyone could just drop on their system and then like, hey, let's have a 4-player co-op game.
I'm dying for a 4-player co-op game. It's killing me.
Yeah. Another fun update that came out this week was Mario Maker released a 2.0 update, which I don't know if you saw this, but they added Link. And they added a bunch of Link assets. So it's the closest we've gotten to like a Link maker. So you can now you pick up, and so you have 8-bit Link running around in a platformer. So and the levels people are making online are fantastic.
I'm just imagining all the there's Link now in Maker, pants come off, right?
Oh yeah, pretty much. And tons of amazing levels.
Everyone's just like, oh god, I can't believe it.
Have you ever watched any of these videos of like the Mario Maker or the levels?
I think I've only watched the insanely hard, I want to call them joke levels, but they're the ones that give you like heart palpitations as they're sort of running through it.
Yeah. Those are fun. But what's great about the Mario Maker community is they're constantly pushing, kind of like the Minecraft world. You know, when you see them make
there's a Yoshi in this game. What?
Yeah. I was like a bunch of noobs. Like Yoshi's been in there since day one.
Come on.
No, these, you know, just
call
like
yourself
just
a
like
gamer.
You've had these levels that are pushing the mechanics of the game, so they're finding a way to meta in it. So they're making new style games within the game, which is fun. Yeah.
No, I mean that's the how you say that is really the charm of that kind of sandbox tool. You see it. I mean, you see it happen with all games like that. Minecraft. I think even like role playing games, you give a gamer community a group of role playing games, and they will make a new game inside that game.
Yeah, GTA even gets it.
GTA, yep.
Stardew Valley has a couple of stuff like that. I've seen before people doing Skyrim.
Well, like they'll do no kill runs.
Yeah,
or they'll build enormous what is it? Even Fallout. I know Fallout 76. No one wants to talk about it, but even Fallout 76, people have created their own games inside the game itself. It's just what we love to do, man. It's what we need a space to create and rules that we can all abide by. Right? That's the important part.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fun. So yeah, man. What else here? I feel light this week just because.
What are you playing? What are you playing this week? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? So I launched a little more Borderlands 3. I've been trying to run through the campaign because I do want to play the expansion when it comes out. But I'm not in
any rush. I looked at it today and I was like, I need to get back to that and I need time to dig in. Like it hasn't put its claws in yet.
Well, I will say this past Saturday, I went on again, we've talked about this. I moved to Dallas in August and left a community of friends and whatever in the Houston area. And when I got here, one of the first things I did was I decided to look up kind of a retro game community just to see how big it was because and I decided to join just a group online, be like, hey, the Dallas Retro Gamers. And this Saturday, well, I've been to one of their meetups prior, which was a nice, fun meetup, a big buy, sell, trade kind of thing. Everyone brings bins of games and systems and whatnot, and everyone's just kind of selling and swapping and trading and whatnot. It's very fun. But this time they had their Christmas party, and the Christmas party was held at the National Video Game Museum.
Oh, nice.
And it was awesome. In Fresco. And sure enough, we walked in, and I decided to bring a box of stuff and made a little cash. But met a bunch of great people, great individuals. 5 or 6 people have been talking back and forth, et cetera. And little close-knit communities like that are fun. Obviously. One of the things that I did do is I had commissioned one of them, which I met earlier back in September, to do a modification on my Wii, on my Nintendo Wii. They added what's called a Wii Dual mod, which basically it takes the Wii never had digital video. Like even though it came out when new systems already had HDMI, it didn't have HDMI. The best it had was a component. It was analog. And this mod,
really?
So it had you plug in the multi-pin thing, and it would give you red, green, blue was the best you can get, component.
Wow.
And 480p again, not 720.
Does the Wii U still work?
Wii U that one had 1080p. This is the Wii, the original Wii.
Oh, does that still work? Can you still play games on that?
Oh yeah. The Wii had a great memory, a lot of games, and it's one of my favorites. Actually, has a lot of good games, and it's backwards compatible with GameCube, and it's got modifications. It's really good. It's also a really good system because it can do what's called 240p, which is really sharp for old retro games and whatnot. But the digital, he modified it, and what he does is this mod attaches itself to the digital video chip and pulls digital lines, the video out, and gives you an HDMI plug.
Jesus Christ!
It was a really, really sharp picture out of the Wii, and I posted some video on it and whatnot. It had scan lines in it, because you can turn it on with this chip. But man, it's interesting that a lot of these games came out like 2000. I want to say 2005 when the Wii came out, and they look great. They were really restricted by the hardware of that system and the video.
Sure.
Everything was soft and muddy, and the colors were desaturated because just they couldn't get good video out of it. And as soon as you did this mod, like these games just all brightened up. Like all the Marios, like the red looked really sharp, the blue looked really bright.
I'm just laughing because you're always like, it matters, and I'm like, I'm fine. I can play on this crappy TV in the dark without my glasses on. It's fine.
It's fine. The blur is part of
the blur is part of the enjoyment.
Yeah, totally. But and I've been running through, playing some games. I was playing some Super Mario Galaxy, and it looks phenomenal. God,
you're such a hardcore retro gamer. It's amazing to me.
I've been running through that. I was playing, GameCube games, and one of the big advantages is it gives me digital video GameCube, which is something you can't normally do. I mean, high def is too def.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been great. So I've been kind of playing that. It's also awesome. One to play Luigi's Mansion 1 on a TV is through GameCube. So yeah, awesome. That's what the kiddos have been asking me to play because there's a couple games they like to play on. It's got the Wii has light gun games.
Right. Yeah.
They like playing the light gun games on there.
There you go. They're like banging the TV with your gun, and you're like, "You're too close, goddamn it! Move back up. I remember doing that to my dad all the time.
So, what are you playing?
What am I playing? So, I finally finished Tembo the Badass Elephant. So, I 100% of that game last week or in the last week. And then Duck Attorneys, yep, we have in the future. You know, it's funny. I went to Retro Game Con 7 here in Syracuse. They do a little Retro Game Con up here, and my daughter was playing Duck Hunt for the first time, and she totally tapped the gun right up against the screen. Like she banged that duck right in the face with the gun. I'm like, whoa, you got to back up. You can't just do that. It's just instinctual. That's what we want to do is shoot that close. But I just started playing Wander Song. Have you seen this game?
Tell me about it.
Xbox Pass game. I think it was originally on Steam. It's definitely on the Switch. You play I want to say a bard. They call him a bard. That is sent on a grand quest to save the world. You have to learn the Earth Song. But it's like crisp, bright colored graphics. And I absolutely adore the plot, the sense of humor about it. A lot of times people are like, wait, you're the hero? But you're a bard. What are you going to do? Sing at it? And it turns out, yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're going to go sing at it. It's got a real positive vibe to it, and I'm just really enjoying it with my daughter. She's watching me play. Occasionally she plays. She's actually singing along with some of the songs, which I find to be amazing. I mean, she's doing she can pitch those notes way better than I ever could. So I recommend it. Play with your kid. They might enjoy a humorous game where you play the bard, and you're a bard, dude. You're not gonna fight. It's all singing. That's how you solve your problems as a bard. It's solid enjoyment. I think it came out maybe 2 years ago on the Switch, and now it's on the Xbox. So I'm always a little behind.
So
there's your Hyper Blaster for Duck Hunt.
Rolls. You mentioned Duck Hunt here, and I wanted to kind of point you out that this comes out on the 16th. Of this month. It is HD compatible with an actual NES. You actually put your Duck Hunt game into this adapter, and it will allow you to play this on a high definition television, which is something you can't do.
Didn't we see this at PAX East? I thought we saw this last year at PAX East, the Hyper Blast. Yeah, they had a ton of them set up.
They were setting it up because it was in beta. They had announced it and it hadn't come out. They announced it in January of this past year. They were working the bugs out on it, but there it is, man.
That is crazy. It's a little bit smaller than the gun from the NES. Is what I remember. It's just a little bit smaller, so you don't have the same. Like you got to get used to it. Like my brain automatically aimed it as if it was the large one from the NES. Having a dog laugh at me in 4K. There you go. You can go back to watching those animal films. What I was going to mention something about the NES, but now I don't remember. Moving on.
Yeah, no. So again, like I said, companies like Hyperkin and whatnot are really cashing in on the Nintendo stuff, on the retro stuff, because people want to play this stuff on newer systems. And they're re-releasing games.
And as we talked about it before, the whole retro game market has shot the way the hell up in values and prices for everything. I mean, it's becoming hard for me to buy cheap DS games now, which is infuriating because all my DSs still work, and I missed I feel like an entire generation of games on that DS, and now with my daughter being at the right age, I want to play more games with her, but they're expensive as hell.
Yeah, Hyperkin just released this too.
There we go.
Came out today. This is the Superboy Black and Gold. So it's a portable Super Nintendo. Just drop here.
How are they able to release a portable Super Nintendo without Nintendo shutting them down?
So the patents are expired. The patents are expired, and none of it is using real hardware. It's they're reverse engineering, right? So there might be a game or two that might not run 100% on it, but all in all, you're gonna get the 95%.
As long as you own the original cartridges, right, you can play these systems. I got it.
Right. So they're still making it so that you still have to buy them. The problem is Nintendo doesn't make any money off of these. It's not like Nintendo's making direct money off of these cartridge purchases anyway.
Mm-hmm. I hope so, Rolls. I really hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, emulators in general. The problem is companies have realized that their back catalog is worth something.
A fortune.
So emulators might still exist, and there's nothing wrong or illegal about them because most of the time they're not even using they're reverse engineering code, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is illegal in an emulator of any type is when you need the BIOS for the system. So an example, when you turn on your GameCube, that logo that comes up, the little box that bounces and it makes the GameCube logo, or the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, the PlayStation boot up screen.
Yep.
Yeah, that is initializing the BIOS, and then at that point, then the game starts. If your emulator requires the BIOS, which a lot of them do, they make the emulator works, and they're like, yeah, it works, but you're gonna have to find a way to dump your own BIOS from your own console, or find a way to find it. You go and find this BIOS file, drop it into your folder, and then you can play your emulator. But they're like, we don't provide that. That's the one piece of code that we don't provide you.
That would be too shady. So here's a link, though. You can find it right over here, but it would be too shady.
Google.com. So, but then again, most companies don't tend to come at you. And the hilarious part about all of this, and you can go online and watch videos on other people that have had multiple talks on this, but people that have made emulators for like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, arcades, arcade emulators like MAME. You then get companies that come back like Nintendo, and then they go, hey, we need to make a virtual console. Let's just take this emulator that someone's already made and drop it on our system, and then we don't have to do any work. And then what are they going to do? Madison St. Louis? They're pretty much making our system.
They're selling our shit. Yeah.
So that's what happens a lot.
Always a risk.
Nintendo Virtual Console, the NES, the mini NES, the one, the little small consoles. Yep. Someone had gone on, and when you dig through the files, one of the ROMs that's on there is actually one that was dumped by a release group.
That's awesome.
Like it has the same checksum file on it. So they're like, Nintendo didn't even bother dumping their own copy of Master Blaster or whatever. It ended up being
a great game, by the way. But yeah,
so yeah, retro in general is always funny about that.
I meant to say, this is what I just remembered. PAX East, PAX Unplugged happened last weekend.
That's right. Yeah,
and I mean, I wasn't there, and I suffered from the worst case of FOMO ever. Like I was like, wow, this seems like the greatest board game con I've ever not been at. I'm sad. So I think next year I'm going to make an effort.
Yeah, make an effort. It's not that far from you.
It's right there in Philly.
You know what? This year it happened after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It was this past weekend.
So it was in December this year.
Yeah.
But every year, the past 2 years that it's been, this is 3 years. This is year 3.
Same as AAR, which overlaps with our
AAR, which is our significant others' big convention that they go to for their profession. And but it always ends up being the weekend before Thanksgiving, which is a terrible weekend to travel anyway. I mean, like you're getting ready to travel again for family and whatever.
But heading down to Philly doesn't seem so bad. My buddy's down there. I can always crash with him, so I can make it as cheap as possible.
Oh yeah, make it really cheap. That's kind of what PAX South is for me. Like I don't really spend a lot. The tickets are cheap. The accommodations are cheap. I bundle like 10 people in the room and just sleep on a couch kind of.
Yeah. And D&D made a huge, they made their new show announcements. There was all sorts of D&D news, and I don't know. It seemed like the kind of con that I should be attending more often. So I can.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cheaper tickets too, right? The tickets aren't as expensive as the 200 and something we dump on PAX East tickets.
Dwarven Forge were there, and they were killing me with their setup. So all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we need to retweet out to people to look at it, because I had no idea. I chose not to, even though I've got friends that worked it. I was too busy this weekend and was like, I'm gonna. I
don't want to be sad all weekend long.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. I know. Every time there's a PAX, I always want to be at it, whether it's East, South, West, Australia, whatever. It doesn't matter. I want to be at it.
Usually, I don't I feel like I don't know why I got so many more. I think it's because I follow a lot of board gamers and role playing game designers, so I saw a lot of news about that. While PAX South and PAX West sort of passed by without much note for me, but
also it felt like it was in your backyard and you weren't there.
It was brutal. people I know were there, and I'm like, you bastards.
Your buddy Gil, right? Maker of a couple games that you know.
Gil was there. John, I mean, everyone I know was there. The only I wasn't there. Everyone else was there, and I'm like, why am I not there? This makes no sense. So, I mean, besides the fact that 2 cons a year feels like a lot of free time for me.
So the best way to do it is try to make that one as cheap as possible. Like make it.
The cheapest.
Well, I'm just saying, like.
And the whole weekend away from the family is a lot of time.
I mean, besides that, I know the family equity.
There is no. That's that. I mean, there's no. You say besides that, as if that's not the only obstacle, right? Like if I was,
I mean, I'm just saying
single and
what I'm trying to get at is
I could disappear to all the.
I'm not talking about like abandoning your family. It's the idea is if you're gonna do something away from the family for a weekend, what you would do is, since you and I both know that we spend a ton of cash. We drop a big old chunk of change at PAX East, trying to fit another one in there. Like even when I'm doing South is always like, oh, I got to spend as minimal as possible. Like not buy anything. I'm just going for the con and the friends and the whatever, and split everything, get all the money back, etc. But
get my food cost down to 50 cents a day. It's rough.
Yeah. Couple noodles,
that's peanut butter right out of the jar. The spoon I stole from the eating center, right? It's,
yeah. It can be done just on the cheap, but we're old. We're not in our 20s.
I'm gonna stay in a nice hotel room.
Right. I get it. I mean, once we're old enough, we're like, oh, my back isn't good enough to sleep in a tub anymore.
No, exactly. I can't have another cheese sandwich. That is ridiculous. Where is my filet mignon?
Where's my filet mignon? No, my colon can't take that food.
Right. So yeah, our buddy who is an idiot slept in a car. I don't understand.
On Homeless Row is what it was.
Yeah, Homeless Row. See, that's good. That's good, Rolls. Yeah, if you can figure out a way to have someone else pay for your trips, that's the dream.
That's fair enough. I have trips like that at this new job, but I don't think any of them are ever going to overlap my PAX.
Like Legacy, it was not great. You can tell yourself that, but it was because that is the option you chose for yourself.
So for those
sleeping in a bed is better.
There's a group of friends that don't know. Our buddy Legacy Jordan here, he goes to PAX with us every year, and up until recently, he started going with family, and so they were actually getting a bed for him to sleep in. But we have offered our room, and yet he says that he's too light of a sleeper. He's way too delicate. So instead of sleeping on a bed like a normal,
finish the sentence because it's ridiculous.
So what he does is he drives down because he lives in the same city as Pedro. They drive down together, and then he drops Pedro off. And then drives to a parking lot somewhere and proceeds to hobo it up in a car. And I'm not
Texas Bindle and
everything's like just straight up like a can of beans in a parking lot with other people. And I'm not kidding you. He once told me that there were people that brush your teeth, and there was like the brush teeth cup. I think it what it was. Some story about brushing teeth, and there were like other people doing it, like all in the morning. People walking in their bathrobe in the middle of the parking lot because they're just a bunch of hobos.
It's weird because he says he's delicate and he can't sleep because we make too much sunblockers for the windows. Because he says that's the part that I don't get. Like me sleeping in a car. In a city, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd spin all the time. Every sound I heard, I assumed was a raccoon nibbling at my toes.
There was a bathroom spot.
Yeah,
that's right. There was a bathroom spot in the parking garage.
I was on a road trip and I stayed at a beach I stayed at a campsite near Monterey, very rich town, and there's totally a population that goes there for the season, but lives at the campsite. Right. So they have a tent and they just live in the tent. They shower and use the bathrooms at the campsite, and then they work in town. So they're almost homeless, which what I imagine Jordan.
They're
they're not transient so much as like this is the way they make their money from the summer. They just go out there and they make a ton of money.
Like carnies.
They like carnies, but they're
I have friends that are modern rennies that do that. I say friends. I say friends. They're older acquaintances.
You got people.
And yeah, they travel with the Ren fairs as the seasons go by. So we get ours in the fall, but there are other cities that have them in the summer or have them in the spring or whatever. And so they those same people, those same vendors show up to other Ren fairs.
Right. It's one of those questions that got answered when I was an adult, right? Where I was like, how do these people live if all they do is work this 1 week or weekends? How do they make enough money?
The Texas Renaissance Festival here in Texas is the biggest in the United States.
Here we go.
It's not a weekend. It lasts from like late September to end of November.
It's like 5 weekends, right? Or end of wow, it goes on for much.
It goes on for the entire fall season, and so it's like 2.5 months. So every weekend is a themed weekend, whether it's Halloween or
right. Sure.
And the last one is the Christmas themed one where they do like a Dickens kind of thing before they close up shop. But it goes on every weekend. It's 3 days a week, 3 days a weekend, and then at the same time they're sleeping and they're camping out there. So like it's a long stretch of time. So I get it. They need to have people that kind of live there and like make this town function, because it's when you walk into it, it's like a giant. It's like the size of Disney. Like it's this giant.
And that's 3 months. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe that is living the dream. You know, you live out of a trailer, you drive around, you follow your favorite, and you just dress in giant dresses.
Man, they all go to Ren Fair and work tech support.
Oh, they work tech support. Like in my head, I was like, is he the Jack Sparrow pirate, or is he the, he does tech support? That's genius.
They do. Like every friend of mine growing up, that was their tech support, and then they become Rennies. I always find it interesting, I love Ren Fair. I love it. I have tons of friends that do it, but I always find it interesting that the lifestyle that is Ren Fair, it's like either they're really futuristic where they like do tech support and they're all techie and whatnot. They're like hackers and coders and developers and whatnot.
Free spirit.
And then they're free spirit, and then immediately, like at the drop of a hat, they're willing to go to the dark ages and like become
chop wood,
and like I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's like real life D&D. I'm just like, I don't want to live where the play a game where people of color were like hung, like I just not the lifestyle I want to live in. I'm just not the times that I want to go back to. But
that's veils and smoke, dude. You got to cover that stuff up. That's not. Yeah, exactly. That didn't happen at the Ren Fair. This is all nice.
Yeah, look, we've got. I love Ren Fair.
Minorities cast as the Queen of Victoria. Yes.
That work it here at TRF. So.
Ridiculous. Absurd.
But don't y'all have a Ren Fair up there?
Yeah, we do. It's nice. It's small. It goes on for I think 4 weekends, and New York City down has one in New Jersey. That one's much larger. It goes on for 6 weeks.
Medicine, right.
And roads, yes, and roads. A little bit of everything.
All everything.
Veils and mirrors, everybody. Veils and mirrors. This is how we have fun and enjoy ourselves, because we have to cover things up and talk about them. Call ourselves. Thank you, Jordan. You can tell he's the one working on his PhD while we're just idiots over here with actual jobs. Worth it. I love it. So like, follow, subscribe. Appreciate everyone, friends of the shows coming on and listening.
Like and subscribe. Woo! Animation. Yeah, guys. Sorry for the slow week this week. I know we didn't have a ton to talk about, but we're winding down. We're gonna have a lot to talk about after the Game Awards. Tune in on Thursday. I'm going to hop on and stream it. I'll have it up. I'm going to do my best to maybe have it up and put my picture on, or vice versa, or maybe
you did it like on YouTube last year, right? You just watched it.
Yeah. I threw it up on YouTube, and I threw myself up, and we watched it together, and
awesome.
We'll see how it works out for everybody. So if you're going to tune into me and watch it with me, and we'll have this.
That's the Afro Man. The Afro Man.
Yeah.
Also, brother, sister, they're on their second or. Next week is their 3rd week of their Advent gaming. They've got a new Christmas style Nintendo game lined up. They've already done Gremlins 2, and the week before that they did Home Alone. Some of the trashiest movies to video games out there. Watching them play Gremlins 2 was painful but enjoyable. So. And that's a stellar review for me. If you're a friend of the show, that's a stellar review for me. So
the best you're gonna get.
Go check them out, Brother Sisters, on Tuesdays at 8:30. Enjoy that on the Twitchers.
All right, guys. Again, like, subscribe, share music for Heretofore for that lovely intro. If you didn't hear it, but you'll see it in the YouTubes or whatever. Again, please share. I'm hoping our buddy that Dan, who won our giveaway, gets his console soon, and
it's awesome because I actually know him up here, so I can give him a high five. He lives about an hour and in 10 minutes away. So thanks for following the show, Dan.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, guys. Episode 56, right? 56.
Give or take.
Is in the can. Take care, guys.
Be kind.